long way. 19-13, but recently, Kansas State dominating. They've won 3 in a row. So ready to send it away, Anthony Cantelli, who had a great night last week against Texas A&M, and Quandre Diggs is back deep for the Longhorns, along with DJ Monroe, and this one kicked out of the end zone. So Texas will start at their own 20-yard line. So that brings out the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. For Texas, offensively, they average 416 yards per game, 44th in the nation, 15th rushing.
And they want to run it again tonight, led by their senior left guard, David Snow. He's been the best offensive lineman for Texas all year. And tonight, let's look at another senior, Blaine Irby. 2 years ago, a horrific knee injury. He finishes his career tonight as a Longhorn.
So Malcolm Brown starts in the backfield. He's been suffering from a serious case of turf toe. Let's see how he runs early. Short drop. Ash throws it to the far side. Ball caught by Mike Davis. And for Mike Davis, that'll be a gain of 7. Malone with the tackle. Defensively for Kansas State, coming into this game, ranked 82nd in the nation in total defense. They're 25th against the run.
And they're prepared for the running game, but look for Texas to throw it a lot on first down early. Jordan Volker, a defensive end, is playing awfully well. In the middle, Arthur Brown is getting mentioned as an All-America linebacker. And back deep, Tyson Hartman, Ty Zimmerman, both had 2 interceptions in the game last year.
Second down and 4, and the true freshman connecting once again, as DJ Grant makes the reception and gets out of bounds. And for David Ash, it's very clear and very simple. According to Mac Brown, he told us Texas quarterbacks have to be leaders. He hasn't seen it as much as he has wanted to, and he wants a better performance out of him tonight as the UT goes into the Wildcat with Brown ready to receive the snap. And here's Brown running straight ahead. His forward progress should get him the first down.
And Gus, as you noted with David Ash, time for him to step up. And he did his job on the first series of the game. Completed the first 2 passes, made it 3rd and short, let them go to the Wildcat with Malcolm Brown assuming Fozzie Whitaker's role, who's out for the season with a knee injury, and picking up the initial first down of the game. That's Texas's plan for tonight. Throw it short early. Make Kansas State focus on it. Try and get the 3rd and short and use the running game.
First down and 10 at the 31. Malcolm Brown, the single setback. And they hand it to him straight ahead. And plenty of running room. With Malcolm Brown running between the tackles. Hartman comes up with the stop, the free safety.
And what this running play does is we see this side of the line start to clear things out. Trey Hopkins, 75. Mason Walters, 72. Snow, number 78, folding around. Saw right out of the gate. Walters with a knockdown. It brings up 2nd and about 4. So that's manageable for Texas.
Brown missing the last 2 games with that turf toe. He's their leading rusher. And they swing it out again. Incomplete, intended for Goodwin. And that brings up 3rd down and 4. And what the coaches told us yesterday in our meetings at the UT facility, they're going to try to get David Ash off quickly with a lot of short stuff.
And they did it on the first drive, first 2 plays of the game, and he completed the passes. That one was on him. He threw it behind Marquise Goodwin. Now on 3rd and 4, it's back on him again. He's got to make big throws tonight to keep drives alive.
And let's see if he uses his legs. 3rd down and 4 at the 37. DJ Monroe in the backfield. Ash fires, and he throws this one behind his intended receiver, Mike Davis. So the Longhorns will have to punt it away.
And the last 2 throws are on David Ash. He made Marquise Goodwin turn around on 2nd down. Then on 3rd down on the slant route, it was behind the receiver.
Well, that brings on Justin Tucker. And Tucker serves as not only the punter, but also the kicker. And this one, wobbly kick. Tremaine Thompson back deep. But it's fielded by Ty Zimmerman around the 30-yard line. So here comes the Kansas State offense on the field, the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Total offense for K-State, 364 yards a game, 22nd in rushing.
And they want to do most of it via the ground again tonight. Clyde Offner at right tackle, 30 starts in his career. He's a tough guy. And when Colin Klein doesn't carry it, they want John Hubert, number 33, the sophomore runner, to touch the football.
Colin Klein, folks, what a story coming out of Manhattan. First down and 10 at the 33. Klein lines up in the gun. He fires out wide. Ball caught. Thompson, and he's wrapped up and drilled. Quandre Diggs and Keenan Robinson in on the play. Let's take a look at this Texas defense, ranked 14th in the nation, giving up 313 yards a game. They're 10th against the run.
And they need to be stout inside tonight. Let's keep the senior theme going. Keyston Randall, all Big 12 at defensive tackle. Senior Keenan Robinson back in the middle after hurting his thumb last week. And right down the middle, Kenny Vaccaro, Blake Gideon. The safeties will have to make a lot of tackles tonight.
Loss of 3 on the last play. Second down and 13 at the 30-yard line. Klein in the gun again, underneath, incomplete. Once again, it's Quandre Diggs defensively. Chris Harper, the intended receiver. But let's tell you something about Colin Klein right after this.
And both teams now coming out against type with their quarterbacks throwing the ball on the early downs. Excellent coverage by Quandre Diggs.
Klein last week against A&M carried the ball 35 times for 103 yards and a record-tying 5 touchdowns, including the game winner in the 4th overtime. He also passed for a career-high 281 yards and a touchdown with an interception. Third down and 13 at the 30. Klein stepping up in trouble. And Klein trying to get out of the pocket, and he will not. Emmanuel Acho coming up with the tackle for a loss. They'll credit him with a sack, loss of 2, and Kansas State will be forced to punt.
And this is why you have to have a lot of bodies around Colin Klein. He slips through the first one from Chris Whaley before Emmanuel Acho gets his shot at him before he breaks out of the pocket. He will make, oftentimes, he will make the first guy miss. There needs to be a lot of orange shirts around Colin Klein in the pocket.
Ryan Dorr standing at the 14-yard line. Quandre Diggs back deep at his own 30. And Diggs signaling for the fair catch, dropped it, but covers it up at the 20-yard line of 50. And welcome back to Austin, Texas. Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium, the 5th largest college stadium in the country, fitting over 100,000 fans. So Ash, first down and 10 at his own 20-yard line. Empty backfield. DJ Monroe, a running back at the bottom of your screen. And Ash with time over the middle, picked off. Intercepted by Lamore. And David Ash throwing that ball behind the intended receiver once again, and Kansas State has the football.
Texas wanted to get their quarterback comfortable. Easy throws, maybe some runs early. The throws have been easy, but the accuracy has not been good. This is the 3rd consecutive throw that's behind the receiver. Receiver tries to make a catch. Ball's tipped up in the air. Lamore with the interception. See it behind him? Can't catch that one. That's too tough.
Emmanuel Lamore, a senior from West Palm Beach, Florida. And now Kansas State with the football at the Texas 16-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Klein decides to keep it, and Klein will pick up 3 yards on the play. But how about this kid? He's just 3 rushing touchdowns shy of Ricky Williams' Big 12 season record of 27, and also the single-season FBS record by a quarterback, Navy's Ricky Dobbs, 27 in 09. This kid has 7 100-yard rushing games.
Just his 13th start in his young career, and expect heavy run with Colin Klein in this situation.
Especially when they get close to the end zone. 2nd and 7 for the Honey Badger at Kansas State. The handoff, Hubert. And Hubert will get close to the first down. Jordan Hicks tripping him up after a gain of 6.
If you're John Hubert, the running back for Kansas State, Colin Klein is your best friend. Because in a normal offense, the running back is the focus of the defense in the running game. In this situation, Colin Klein is, when Hubert gets opportunities, there should be holes.
3rd down and short. Wildcats need a yard at the 7. Klein pushes the pile forward, and it will depend on the spot. So Bill Snyder, one of just 5 active coaches with 150-plus wins, joining Mack Brown of Texas, Frank Beamer of Virginia Tech, Steve Spurrier, and Gary Pinkel of Mizzou. And on 4th down, K-State electing to go for it. 4th down and inches. Wilson and Hubert in the offset eye. Quarterback sneak, and Kansas State picks up the 1st down.
In the red zone, they can be lethal. Last week against Texas A&M, 5 touchdowns and 5 red zone opportunities. Raised their average to the year to 69% in terms of touchdowns. Not surprised they came right back with the sneak. Your #1 runner, power play, getting right in there. He's 6'5", nearly 230 pounds, just wedges a small hole and picks it up.
1st down and goal at the 4. Hubert in the backfield with Klein. Last week against A&M, it was Klein running every time. This time they give it to Hubert, trying to get outside, and he will not do it. He'll actually lose yardage on the play. Great pursuit. Carrington Bindum there to knock him out of bounds.
Good call there, because the pursuit is what kept him out of the end zone. The block on the corner on Kenny Vaccaro, the strong safety, was really good by the wide receiver Tremaine Thompson. But the pursuit got to the corner and headed Hubert off before he could turn it upfield.
2nd down and goal at the 6.
Expected to stay in Klein's hands on this play.
And Klein hands it off. Hubert, not much there to stop him. Jackson Jeffcoat, the sophomore from Plano.
Normally, this is definitely a throwing down. But when you've got Colin Klein in the backfield, that changes the ratio. So the Texas defense cannot overly load up and say that he's going to run it in, load up against the pass. He could very well take off and become a runner.
3rd down and goal at the 5. They run the option. Klein elects to run it and will not get in. So a great stand by the Texas defense as they turn away Kansas State. Alex Okafor, first man to him, number 80.
Watch the line of scrimmage. Texas's defensive front wins this battle because you can't find a clear crease to run through. Good pursuit. Okafor, coming down from his defensive end position, bends down inside and makes the initial stop.
So Anthony Cantelli, last week, 2 for 2 against A&M. Tied the game at the end of regulation with the 44-yarder and kicked a 38-yarder. In the 2nd overtime, this one from 20 yards away, and it's good. And with 7:10 to play in the 1st quarter, K-State strikes first blood. 3-zip. Beautiful night here in Austin, Texas, and the Chase Sapphire Action Cam. Here's a look. Darrell K. Royal, Texas Memorial Stadium. Over 100,000 crammed into this place this evening on senior night. Kansas State taking a 3-0 lead. Colin Klein on the phone, 8-play, 13-yard drive after the interception by Lemuel. Eating up close to 4 minutes. Quandre Diggs, DJ Monroe back deep, and this one sailing out of the end zone once again. Now let's go to Los Angeles and Kevin Frazier for a...
I think that's a fair assessment. That would be a huge win for Oregon to go ahead and climb up there, considering Alabama lost also to LSU. But it's going to be a hair's split in the vote, guys.
1st down and 10 to the 20-yard line. Ash flings it out to Goodwin and the track star. Nice running after the catch. Let's go downstairs to Tim Rooster. And Coach, what are you seeing from David Ash?
Well, Gus, what I see, David Ash is not going to be perfect tonight. He's a true freshman quarterback. He's going to throw some balls behind. What I would have done after that last series, that batted ball for a pick, I'd have got those receivers together and had a heated discussion with them saying, hey, you got to help this young quarterback out. Make some plays, guys.
3rd down. Make that 2nd down and 4. Ash, rather, 3 of 5 for 15 yards. And an interception. Here's the handoff. DJ Monroe, 1st down. beautiful Pearl as he spins Earl the Pearl Monroe style.
From Winston-Salem State. Watch on the sweep. You got to get the guys cleaned up front, and they do. Nice block at the point of attack on the corner by number 18 tight end DJ Grant, which allowed DJ Monroe to become a whirling dervish to the corner. Now, will they come right back and give David Ash another easy throw that he needs to complete?
Texas with some breathing room now. Ball at the 35, first down. Here's Ash handing it off. Malcolm Brown diving forward. And Brown will pick up on the play about 3.5. Trey Walker, the outside linebacker, weak side linebacker with the tackle.
So much focus on David Ash. Now can the running backs, can the offensive line take some of that pressure off of him? Coach Brew already noted he will not be perfect tonight. He's got to be somewhat precise, though, to give his receivers an opportunity to make a play.
Now Joe Bergeron checks in the game. Another talented freshman who's been nursing a very tender hamstring. And they sweep around the right side. Goodwin with running room, and he'll go out of bounds close to the first-yard marker. A 4-yard pickup.
We're going to see a lot of runners by committee tonight, I think, because the action just comes on a jet sweep, bringing Goodwin around, and he carries it. So already in this game, Goodwin's going to touch it in the running game. DJ Monroe is not one of their primary ball carriers. He's touched it in the run game. Bergeron has come in, but has not yet carried it.
Goodwin has carried the ball coming into this game 11 times for 133 yards. Now Ash dumps it off, first down UT. Nicely done. Lane Irby, the senior, making the reception, gains 5, and the chains continue to move for the Longhorns.
And that's a nice play by David Ash. This is what the Texas coaches want from him. Being able to get out, move the pocket a little, get him on the move, get it out to his tight end, and that's a nicely thrown football. Plus, he absorbed a little bit of a hit. They say that he's a tough guy. Sometimes he needs a hit to get himself settled into the game. Well, he's had it now.
DJ Monroe in the backfield, first down to the 48. Monroe looking. And Monroe will get a yard on the play. Stopped by Ray Kibble and Lemoore.
At some point in this game, Texas is going to want to take a big shot downfield because with a freshman quarterback, freshman runners, youngsters touching the ball a lot, you don't want to have 12 to 15 play drives. That leaves you open for errors. So at some point, Texas is going to want to take a big shot with Ash and try and loosen things up.
The first down marker brought to you by Russell Athletics. 2nd and 9 at the 49. They'll hand it off straight ahead. Bergeron. And Bergeron dropped by Trey Walker. But the 1-2 punch of Bergeron and Brown could be very effective in this game for the Longhorns.
If those two are back at full capacity, able to run the football all night, that gives them 2 thumpers in the backfield that when you tackle them, you pay for it. Kansas State prides itself on its toughness. Texas has spent all week telling its kids the only way to play with Kansas State is to be tough yourself. They showed them last year's film where Kansas State kicked them around the field. Are you going to be able to match that intensity? That's Texas's mission tonight.
So a gain of 6, 3rd down and 3, and they go Wildcat. Cody Johnson with it. Johnson, first down, Texas. Without Fozzie Whitaker, lost for the season last week against Missouri with the knee injury. Somebody's got to come in to run this scheme.
Watch him just follow his fullback on the run and just get to the edge and then use his power to help finish off the run before Arthur Brown makes the initial hit with some help in the secondary.
So a first down. What do you expect to see here, Coach Brewster?
Gus, here I'm seeing a shot. I think he's going to take a shot here, guys. Shot or a deceptive play.
First down and 10. And the ball snapped right behind David Ash, and it's a 13-yard loss.
And these are the plays that drive coaches crazy. The self-inflicted wounds. The snap goes through Ash's legs. He can't get it down. Can't get down fast enough to get it. That ball had some heat on it, and he had to get back and cover it with some help from Jeremy Hills.
Dominic Espinoza, also a freshman center. with the bad snap. Instead of 1st and 10, it's 2nd and 23. At the 46, Jeremy Hills checks in the game, number 5 for Texas. Ash over the middle, incomplete. Intended for DJ Grant.
He had someone in the pocket, in his face. Quarterbacks always talk about having clean feet to throw the football. In other words, no one there so they can step into the throw and get something on it. His feet were extremely dirty on that play. Kansas State defender right at them, unable to get anything on the football.
11th play of the drive for Texas that started at their own 20. 3rd down, 23. At the 46, Ash decides to run. And he'll pick up some yardage. Ash will get close to the original line of scrimmage. Not enough, a 10-yard gain. Arthur Brown, the very talented middle linebacker, number 4.
And that was a
for
field,
Kansas State.
Sorry, Gus, that was a field position call by Texas. Not putting Ash in a position to make a mistake. Quarterback draw, try and get a few yards, and then bring in the punter and try and pin it deep against Kansas State's offense.
So Tucker will punt it away from the 42. Tremaine Thompson back deep at the 10. And he boots this one. And it goes into the end zone for touchback. Kansas State will have it at the 20. So Colin Klein back on the field. Kansas State with a 3-point lead. Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, in high def only on FX. How about that scene last night with Iowa State?
Paul Rhodes and the Iowa State Cyclones pick off 1 or 2 top teams every year under his direction. None bigger than last night.
First down and 10 at the 20-yard line for Kansas State. Try that one, batted down. Jackson Jeffcoat. 2 hands on the football, and Manny Diaz's defense is off to a good start.
Jackson Jeffcoat has been playing so well in recent weeks, bats that one away, but look at what Texas has done right from the beginning. That's the first play of the game. Quandre Diggs on the corner. Then with coverage, Quandre Diggs, and then Emmanuel Acho chasing down Colin Klein before they put him down and force a field goal attempt on a goal line play.
2nd down and 10 at the 20. Klein decides to run, and not much. And time now for a game break. Here's Kevin Frazier in. Guys. All right, thank you, Kevin. We saw him last week, and those freshmen for the Trojans are getting better and better every time they step on the field.
And don't forget, they have a sophomore receiver who leads them in Robert Woods.
3rd down and 8. Klein, incomplete. No flags on the play. Harper, the intended receiver, but Carrington Bindum shutting down Harper, and that will force K-State to punt it away.
Bindum played against Justin Blackman earlier, but watch inside. The pass rush gets in the face of Klein, helps force the inaccurate throw, but Bindum did not back down against Justin Blackman, had a nice day against him. His confidence continues to grow on the corner.
So Dorr will stand at his own 7-yard line. Quandre Diggs at the 30. And Dorr pops this one high in the air. Diggs will get a shot from the 31. Diggs with running room. And Diggs up to the 45, making the 46-yard line, a 47-yard punt, and a 14-yard return. So this will be the best field position for Texas offensively as they come back out. First 3 trips have all started around the 20.
Nice field position here. Coach Brew was talking about a shot play before. This is a spot on the field where you have to be alert for it if you're the defense of Kansas State.
From the 46, 1st down for David Ash. Here's a handoff, Bergeron. And Bergeron will get to midfield, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter with the score: Kansas State 3, Texas nothing. The FX College Football Game of the Week will be back after these messages. Welcome back, Kansas State and Texas. Gus Johnson, along with Charles Davis and Tim Brewster. And today is just the 12th meeting between these squads. Wildcats lead the series 6-5 and have won 3 in a row, including last year's 39-14 decision in Manhattan. Mack Brown showed his team the tape, told them they were out physical, and challenged them to come and play physical football against some tough customers this evening. Here's Ash running the ball, and he will find room. Trey Walker with the tackle, and he'll gain a couple.
Interesting what you just talked about. Okay, you show the tape from last year. This is where they kicked on you guys. That's on you. That's what he and the staff told them. All this coaching, getting the schemes together, what it comes down to, are you tough enough to match up with the toughest team that we've played so far, and that's Kansas State.
Third down and 4 at the 48. Ash will line up in the gun with Malcolm Brown. To throw, underneath, caught, Goodwin, first down UT. Marquise Goodwin, the junior, came into this game with 14 receptions, and he'll pick up 6 yards on this play.
This was the same pass that David Ash threw behind Goodwin that was tipped up in the air for the interception that led to three points for Kansas State. That time, he stays in the pocket, throws a strike right between the 8 and the 4 of Marquise Goodwin to pick up the first down.
So David Ash starting to find a rhythm, especially with his short passes. First down and 10 at the 42. Ash short drop, far side, incomplete. Goodwin slipping on the route, and that'll bring up second down and long.
And he has to be precise, accurate, and have some dispatch on balls thrown to the outside of the field. The corners of Kansas State, they'll show you soft coverage, but they drive on the football very well. David Garrett, number 27 in the coverage on that play. Keep an eye on number 3, Alan Chapman, and number 24, Nigel Malone. All 3 corners, excellent cover guys and ball hawks.
So David Ash right now, 5 of 10, 26 yards, and an interception, but his completions have been of 6, 6, 5, 3, and 6 yards. Let's see if he finally takes a shot. Monroe outside with running room, and he's chopped down at the 40. Nice open field tackle by the strong safety, Ty Zimmerman.
When you play Kansas State, you can have all the game plan you want. You can put it together, feel good about it, but they're going to make it a hard night for you to move the football. Texas 68 total yards so far. They're going to be stout up front with the defensive line, linebackers that run to the football and tackle, and a secondary that can cover.
Jeremy Hills checks in on third down and 9. Kansas State coming. Ash in trouble, and he'll just throw this one out of bounds. And a flag on the play.
It's got to be intentional grounding. He was nowhere close to being out of the pocket. He was right in the middle of the pocket. You can ground the football if you get outside of the pocket, the tackle box.
Holding by number 5 of the offense. 10-yard penalty and replay third down.
I'm really surprised on that one. They must say that someone was in the vicinity for Texas because he just got rid of that one from deep in the pocket. I'm wondering about this humidity tonight also with David Ash. We've seen guys have trouble handling the football. Not just Ash, Quandre Diggs on a punt return, but now the ball coming off of his hand, not too good, not well, and then catching it coming back. I don't know if that's nerves, looking at the rush coming, just not focusing. He's got to take care of the ball better.
So Texas on fourth down will punt it away. This one end over end kick heading toward the end zone. And takes a bounce and is down at the 1. Terrific job by Justin Tucker. A 40-yard punt so far. Manny Diaz, their coordinator, was resolute when we spoke to him yesterday.
He understands what's going on with a freshman quarterback leading their offense. The defense has to step up and play bigger. Limit any opportunities for the offense and be great against plays in front of it. Any running plays, any short passes.
In so many words, he told us that this Texas defense cannot make any mistakes. and it's a linebacker game. First down and 10 at the 1. Klein throws incomplete, under pressure.
And I am surprised at what's going on with Kansas State early in this game with Colin Klein throwing the ball as much as he's throwing it. Just 10 total yards so far in 14 plays. I know they wanted to loosen up the Texas defense and go against type a little bit, but they may have to go back and beat Kansas State.
Now remember, last week Kansas State got off to a slow start. They had 16 yards of total offense, down by 14 to A&M with 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter, and ended up scoring 53 points. Second down and 10. Klein running once again. And he'll push the pile forward, get to about the 5-yard line. A gain of 3. Acho there for the tackle. And Klein has been banged up.
He takes a lot of hits because of the number of times he runs the football. I spoke with a young man last night and said, how do you get ready each and every week? He said, a lot of ice, a lot of stem, and a lot of prayers from my family and friends. That's what gets me ready to go every time. But a lot of those hits do add up in the course of a season.
Let's see if Texas decides to bring some pressure on 3rd down and 7. And Klein elects to call a timeout, and he'll go to the sideline and talk about it. 12:06 to play, second quarter. Coach Snyder and the Wildcats up 3-0. Welcome back. 3-zip Kansas State, the 13th ranked team in the nation, taking on the 23rd ranked Texas Longhorns. Big play here. 3rd down and 7 for K-State at the 4. Texas can stop them. They have a chance to play with a short field. Klein has not thrown the ball well. 1 of 5 for -3 yards.
That's why I think they keep it in his hands and maybe get to the perimeter with a run option.
Texas trying to bring some pressure. Klein incomplete. That went in and out of the hands of senior receiver Sheldon Smith. And now Kansas State will have to punt. Dorr will be lining up maybe in the back of his own end zone.
Surprised they threw it there, but the best outcome for Kansas State, other than picking up a first down, was just an incomplete pass. I thought they'd keep it in his hands to make sure they didn't get a tip ball or an interception deep in their own territory.
Let's see if the Longhorns go after it. Last week, Dorr averaged 46 yards per punt, punted 6 times with a career-long 65-yarder. And this high wobbly kick, fielded, digs, and he'll get to the 35. Great field position for Texas. A 41-yard punt. Terrific job by Diggs to handle it as he returns it 10 yards. And the Longhorns will get it at the 35.
And this is why they were able to do it. The Gunners for Kansas State never break down and come under control. See that? They end up going right past him. And that allowed him to catch the ball on the run and move. If they break down and get in position to make a tackle, they've got a chance to put him down 10 yards earlier.
First down and 10 of the 38 of Kansas State for Texas. Ryan Robertson and Bergeron in the backfield. Here's Bergeron running left. And Bergeron, his forward progress will get him to the 34. Let's check in with Kevin Frazier. Big time.
14-0 SC.
Well, Oregon's going to be number 2. They're going to have to earn it, aren't they?
No doubt about it. Bergeron again. And Bergeron gets close to the 30-yard line. And looking at Malcolm Brown and Bergeron, I mean, Texas has their own version of thump and bump. 2 big, strong, physical, young running backs.
And I think they're going to go Wildcat again. I saw Ash come off the field. Malcolm Brown comes on the field, replacing Fozzie Whitaker as the Wildcat back.
DJ Monroe in the game as well. And they hand it off. Around the corner is DJ Monroe. And he goes out of bounds, about 4 yards short of the first down.
Nice play by the defensive end, Jordan Volker. He's on a stand-up spot, but watch how he goes and sets the edge and pushes the play deeper. He doesn't make the tackle, but he makes Monroe bow to the outside, which allows Nigel Malone, who does a nice job playing off the block, of Miles Onyebule to make the tackle.
So Justin Tucker comes in to attempt a field goal. Gets it up. And good, 48 yards. And Texas on the board. 10-12 to play in the second quarter. Justin Tucker nails it. All right, guys, thank you very much. Our score tied at 3 with 10-12 to play. Colin Klein getting patched up on the Kansas State sideline.
They count on him as a runner. They need him to be an effective passer, which he has not been so far. That doesn't help. That's his throwing elbow that they're patching up. And so far, Texas has done a nice job clogging the running lanes against Kansas State. Nowhere for Colin Klein to go.
Klein, 1 of 6 for -3 yards passing. As the Longhorns send it away, Jermaine Thompson, Chris Harper back deep. It's Thompson bringing it out of the end zone. Gets to the 20, still running. Thompson, terrific return as he brings it out of the end zone and gets close to the 40-yard line. Justin Tucker had to make the tackle himself. So far, this game developing into a good old-fashioned defensive battle. Texas with 73 total yards. Kansas State 13.
Is this the Big 12?
I guess it is.
Is this the Big 12 we've seen all year?
No, it isn't.
This looks like the old school Southwest Conference type football. Defense is owning it. Look at those possessions for Kansas State. The field goal early and 3 punts.
First down and 10 at the 39. John Hubert lines up in the backfield with Klein. He gives it up. Hubert breaks it back, and he'll be lucky to get past the line of scrimmage. Scott making the tackle. Nicely done by Christian Scott, the senior from Dallas.
You made an observation to me in the break, Gus, about how they're clogging the running lanes for Colin Klein, and what they're doing a nice job of is taking away cutback also. If they tried to go wide, and then Hubert put his foot in the ground and tried to get lateral and get upfield, the backside pursuit closed that down quickly for Texas.
Second down and 9 at the 40. Texas D-line really playing hard to start this game. And the linebackers are making tackles. And Kansas State, did they get the timeout? As the play clock was winding down, and they did. And that is the second timeout called by the Wildcats here in the first half.
And when you talk about that second timeout, both of those, I'm not going to say out-and-out confusion for Kansas State, but I think it's more hesitancy. What are we going to do? Because nothing so far that they've run has been very effective against the Texas front. And what Manny Diaz likes to do is see what you're going to show. Bill Snyder wants to wait to the last second to put a play call on, and then Diaz will change up his play call on defense.
And one thing you know about Coach Snyder's teams, they will not hurt themselves. They lead the Big 12 in fewest penalties, just 1 for 5 yards last week against A&M. A&M close to 100 yards in penalties in that game. Second down and 9 at the 40. Klein drops back deep. Double move. Klein fires. He's got a receiver. Incomplete. Sheldon Smith had 3 steps, and Klein knew he missed it.
If this was a basketball game, you would be talking about he missed the layup or the dunk. Out wide, watch the process. You talk about double move, fake, and now he goes deep. And that ball just has to be laid out for him. If anything, you underthrow it and give your receiver a chance to make a play.
Third down and 9 at the 40. K-State needs to get to the 49-yard line. For first, they're 0 for 5 on third down conversions.
Be ready for quarterback run.
And a flag.
Delay of game by the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still third down.
You just mentioned how Bill Snyder teams don't hurt themselves, especially with penalties, but they seem a little bit rattled right now. They're a little bit off. Texas has a little momentum going. The home crowd has gotten into this game. And that hesitancy I talked about before is starting to show up. He wants the football on the snap. He's not getting it from the center.
B.J. Finney didn't seem like he could hear him. This crowd, electric tonight. Klein steps up and is sacked. Great job by Okafor getting to the quarterback. And Kansas State will have to punt it away again.
The defensive ends for Texas are really starting to play. Look at Okafor in that wide 9 all the way outside of the tackle. That's what they call the number 9 position when they line him up in the defensive line. Gives him clear access to get upfield and rush the passer, and he gets the sack.
Fourth punt of the game for Ryan Dorr. This time to the 16. They almost got to him there as Quandre Diggs will fair catch the football at the 25, a 44-yard punt. The Texas defense, their coach told them, no mistakes. And so far, so good. Tie game in Austin. Coach Brew, this defense is doing a nice job.
They've accepted the challenge of Manny Diaz and Mac Brown. They went to this football team, guys, and they challenged and questioned their toughness. Can they match the toughness of the Kansas State Wildcats? So far, guys, Texas Longhorns are playing tough.
But on the other side of the football, can David Ash and this Texas offense help their defense by putting some points on the board? First down. Here's a handoff. Malcolm Brown. And Brown dives forward, picks up 2.
We talk so much about David Ash, the freshman quarterback, having this game on his shoulders, and he was shaky in the beginning. And I was a little tough on him. Let me give him a little bit of love. He seems to be settling in a little bit now. You know, things aren't moving at such a pace as they were early. He's starting to complete passes that are the easy throws they're asking him to complete.
Second down and 8 at the 28 as you look into the eyes of Ash. True freshman, folks. Had his best week of practice throwing the football according to his coaches. Gets it off. Ash to the sideline. Incomplete. Intended for Deshaun Hales.
And I know that looked bad, but it's actually a good throw. You know why?
Why?
He didn't take a sack in there. He made sure that he got the ball out over the sideline, away from anyone with a chance to catch it. All right, and the defender can't come into the play, live to fight another down rather than taking a sack, maybe giving the ball up there. Fight now on the third down conversion, 4 for 8 for the evening.
Third down, 8 at the 28-yard line. Hills checks in, number 5 for UT. Ash underneath, Davis. And Davis will get to the 33-yard line. About a 3-yard pickup, and Texas will be forced to punt.
Nice job by number 27, David Garrett. Watch him to the top of your screen in white. As the inside screen comes down, good pressure first, but watch on the inside screen, Garrett was able to trip it up.
Tucker sends it away, back deep. Tremaine Thompson comes up to field it at the 30. Thompson with a nice stutter step, hits the sideline hard. Oh, nice stiff arm. Out of bounds, Justin Tucker sticking his nose in there and got driven backwards. A 38-yard punt, 19-yard return.
Tremaine Thompson, he's not a big guy, but he's got a big stiff arm, doesn't he, as he sticks it right in the chest of Justin Tucker. But that's Justin Tucker's second tackle of the night in the kicking game.
So this time, Kansas State will have the football at midfield. They've been unable to move the football thus far, but it's their best start of the night. Hubert in the backfield with Klein. Thompson in motion. Klein rolling out of the pocket. And he'll go out of bounds, gaining 2 yards. Vaccaro in pursuit, along with Jordan Hicks.
Bill Snyder trying to find a way to shake free his quarterback. The quarterback run game not effective thus far. The passing game has been abysmal. So he tries to get him on the edge with a run-pass option. Texas closed it down in the passing game and gave him nowhere to turn upfield in running it.
9 carries, 9 yards for Klein. 2nd and 8 at the 48. This Texas defense playing at warp speed in the first half. Klein pulls it down. Klein stumbles forward and gets to the 46. But the pressure coming once again.
Gus, earlier in the game, you talked about the number of hits that Colin Klein has taken throughout the year and how beat up he can be. I'm wondering if he's a little more beat up than we actually know by the way they're calling this football game. Because normally Kansas State presses the run and continues to do things with him. Tonight, they seem to be avoiding him running the football with the same aggressiveness they've shown all year.
He's their leading rusher coming into this game with over 1,200 yards rushing on the season and 24 touchdowns. 3rd and 7 at the 47. Here comes a blitz. K-State picks it up. No! Whoa! Keenan Robinson. Heat in the kitchen. 3rd sack of the first half for UT.
All passing lanes taken away. So Keenan Robinson on the delayed blitz. Lines up, sees it, gap opens, and he puts Colin Klein down with another big hit. Exactly as Manny Diaz asked for. When you have a chance to tackle the quarterback, put it on him.
5th punt of the first half for Kansas State. Dorr at the 29, and he's been doing a wonderful job. This one inside the 20 for Quandre Diggs. 3-3 our score, 5:06 to go in the second. Let's go back to LA. Kevin Frazier. All right, you're right, Kevin. A hug and a headache for the Black Mamba, who they wanted to play defensive back at USC. Chip Kelly scoring a huge win, getting that kid to come to Eugene. Out to Brown. First down, Texas. Now you're seeing ground and pound for the Longhorns. Hartman with the tackle, but it's a 14-yard gain, longest gain of the day for UT.
Coming right at you. Look at Cody Johnson, number 11, as the lead blocker, clearing the hole for Malcolm Brown. Gives Texas some momentum, but let's be fair about what we're seeing in the first half, too. As well as Texas is playing on defense, Kansas State has only given up 3 points also. They're making it difficult on the Horns to move the ball.
First down and 10 at the 32. Goodwin in motion. Play action. They're going for everything. Davis open. Incomplete. Nigel Malone. One of the best corners in all of college football standing on the play.
Looked to me like the body control out wide here. Here's the shot. Davis and Malone. Now watch the body control of number 24, Malone. Let's see if he gets there early.
Oh, he got his hands
he got his hands involved, and that's what the fans are upset about. Actually had the upfield arm grabbed, and what was nice for him was it was hidden away from the official.
Smart kid.
Yes, he is, and his junior college coach, George Rush, said that's the number one thing about him is how intelligent a player he is. Got away with one there.
He's 3rd in the nation in interceptions with 7. Broken play here. Ash decides to run it, and Ash gets to the 40. David Ash makes chicken salad. Alan Chapman comes up with the tackle, a gain of 7.
On a broken play for the quarterback, if the running back's not where he's supposed to be or where he thinks he is, you go where the hole is. And that's exactly what David Ash did. He realized his running back wasn't there for the play called, but he knew how it was supposed to be blocked, and he went to that side. Very intelligent play by the freshman.
3rd down and 3 at the 39. Both these teams playing so hard in this first half. On senior night in Austin, Ash wants it thrown. Spins, dives forward, crawls forward. Let's see where they spot it. Volker with first contact.
Think he's going to be a little short.
And Texas may go for it, folks. They're going for it. Ash short. 4th down.
And this tells you how Mack Brown thinks his defense is playing tonight. Because ordinarily, you go ahead and punt it in this situation.
4th down and 1.
And now you do punt it.
A false start by number 56 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
That's Trey Allen, who's starting at left tackle for Josh Cochran.
And they actually moved him inside to guard on this play. And he jumped in going inside. Trey Allen had been a starter at left tackle, lost his job after the Oklahoma game, got it back to start this evening.
In a field position game this evening, folks. High spiraling kick. Thompson comes up, lost it! Loose! Who's got it? And a flag on the play.
We're going to have kick-catch interference, I believe, against Texas. Never had a real good chance to catch the football.
Kick-catch interference by the kicking team. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's 1st down.
How much room are you supposed to give him?
He's got to be able to catch the football. And what happened there, it looked to me like Tremaine Thompson actually pushed off initially to clear some room for himself, and then the ball came through. I think what the officials saw was the play where Tremaine Thompson's arm came out and said that they were not involved, said they were too close.
Major Applewhite is fired up, and I agree with him. Alex Zumberge gave him space. That looked like a clean muff. Kansas State catches a break. 1st down to the 46. And a handoff to Hubert. And he'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I thought Tremaine Thomas cleared space himself and actually got the penalty in his favor.
Russell, athletic game summary. Ash struggling early.
A little inaccurate early, led to the interception by Manuel Lamore, and that led to a field goal for Kansas State. But the rush defense for Kansas State's been good all year. They've made it tough on Texas. They held them to a field goal also.
2nd down and 10 at the 46. Out of the gun, Klein goes through his progressions underneath. Terrific grab by Chris Harper. All hands, and that's an 11-yard pickup.
Coach Brew talked earlier about the Texas receivers needing to help out David Ash. That's an example of the Kansas State receivers helping out their struggling quarterback, Colin Klein, with a big-time catch by Chris Harper.
First completion for Klein since the first drive of the game. Russell athletic, 1st and 10 line. Now Klein. And he goes forward and gets to the 40. Keenan Robinson with the tackle.
Crowd not letting go the kick-catch interference call that went against the Horns, trying to back their defense a little bit. Very unhappy that Kansas State has the football.
2nd down and 7 at the 40. 120 and counting. Klein steps back, looking, sacked again. 4th of the night. Keyston Randall. Dropping Colin Klein.
The big senior, look in the middle of this pit.
30-second timeout.
Keyston Randall pushing the pocket, gets right into the face and allows Jeffcoat to get there also from the backside. Why were they able to do so? Look at the coverage downfield. Where do you go with the football if you're Colin Klein? Cover, 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 cover. Nowhere to go with it. Texas's defensive backs on the case.
Give a lot of credit to Carrington Bynum and Quandre Diggs on the outside. They've had really solid seasons for the Longhorns, and they have the ability to shut guys down.
And Kenny Vaccaro, who slides inside at the nickel as a strong safety, worked real hard in the offseason on his coverage skills. He can do the same thing. And Blake Gideon, one of the best veterans around tonight, his 48th straight start.
Texas defense coming up with 4 sacks. 1:05 to go. 3rd down and 14. Kansas State needs to go to the Texas 33-yard line.
Look at Texas's defense changing their looks to try and confuse the blocking scheme.
Klein In trouble. Sideline. Nice throw. And catch by Sheldon Smith. Colin Klein staying in the pocket until the very end. Gain of 24.
He's not supposed to be able to do this. Sheldon Smith all the way to the outside, starts inside and runs a corner route. The ball, get to him, gets the foot down, but he's bobbling it going out of bounds. If I'm Texas, I want another look to be sure that he actually completed that catch.
And they will take another look.
Because I think this is coming back. I don't think he had control going out of bounds with the foot down. That ball is bobbling in his hands. I don't think there's complete control. There's a catch, foot is down, so everything's good there, but that ball's moving an awful lot. Not total control there. This has a chance of being overruled.
Charles, that's a catch. That's got to be a catch. I mean,
we will soon find out.
Not to disagree with you.
No, it's okay.
Are we being too?
Yeah. See, I'm saying that that ball is moving in his hands, and in the review, there's an opportunity to overrule that. If it stays, it's a good, listen, I'm not fighting the call because of that, because if it stays, remember, it was called a catch on the field. It has to be indisputable. I think it's open to interpretation to the replay officials.
The previous play is not challenged, but Texas is charged with a timeout.
So the catch stands. Good call.
No, I mean, I don't mean it that way.
No, I know exactly what you mean, because
it's almost unbearable now. Everything
under review
is under suspicion.
But that play, let's talk about how good the play was.
Very good.
Right? Colin Klein in the pocket has struggled all night throwing the football. All right? Well documented. He stood in there like a champ and fired a strike. Best looking ball he's thrown all night. And Sheldon Smith with the wherewithal to get a foot down on the catch. That's big league on both ends.
You're right. A gain of 24, longest of the day for either team. Klein underneath now. And Klein finds Sheldon Smith once again. Kenny Vaccaro drops him with 47 seconds remaining. Kansas State has one timeout left.
Kansas State receivers catching the ball and absorbing the contact downfield and holding on.
Second down and 4 at the 17. They give it to Hubert. Oh, and he's brought down. Tried to hop through the hole, but Ashton Dorsey, the sophomore from Tyler, comes up with the tackle. This D-line has done a really nice job.
They've done an excellent job being able to cut down the running lanes of Colin Klein, Okafor and Jeff Cote on the outside, Howell, Keaston Randall, Ashton Dorsey rotating in, Chris Whaley rotating in. They've done an excellent job all night long. The official's not going to catch a break from his home crowd anytime they talk about anything for a while here.
14 seconds to go, second quarter. A great defensive battle here in Austin. These two teams selling out on every play. 3rd and 3 at the 14. Crowd getting into it. Klein, sideline, touchdown! Back shoulder throw, Chris Harper makes the grab. And Kansas State puts 6 on the board.
We have not said it all night. I'm going to say it now. This was a Tebow-esque drive. Why? He struggled all night throwing the football. No accuracy, no touch, no feel. On this drive, how about the last 3 throws? All of them in the right spot, on the money, in perfect position. Well done. Chris Harper turning around a former quarterback and taking it in for a touchdown. A wonderful drive by Kansas State, aided by a questionable call by the officials.
So Kansas State adds the extra point. 8-play, 54-yard drive. Scoring at 2:42. Let's take another look at Exmo. Klein.
Look at the eyes and the delivery. Is it ideal? No. But is it ideal where the ball was put? Yes. Doesn't matter how. Does it get there? And it did. A beautiful throw. And on that drive, Gus, I could not be more impressed with Colin Klein and what he's taken, the beating he's taken tonight, the inaccuracy of throwing the football. And when they needed him, He made some big-time throws under duress, especially that first one on the sideline right to Sheldon Smith.
You know what the kids in Manhattan call him, right?
The beast back.
The honey badger. Willing to do a little bit of everything to win a football game. Klein 3 for 3, 46 yards on that drive, connecting with Chris Harper on the touchdown.
You understand why I went Tebow there. We've seen Tebow inaccurate all game long, right? When the game's on the line, when it's a big drive, all of a sudden, bam, 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 you're downfield. Colin Klein was just that on that drive.
Texas from the 10-yard line. Goodwin with running room. Goodwin finally tripped up at the 30, a 20-yard return stopped by Matthew Pearson on special teams. So 2 seconds remaining, and it looks like Texas will huddle up and may take a knee.
And we hear the displeasure of the crowd, but what Mack Brown, I'm sure, is going to tell his team, what he's been trying to get them to understand all year long is you have to play through adversity. You didn't get the call, but you still let them go downfield and score. How are you going to respond in the second half against a call that went against you? Will you respond properly?
All right, so that's the end of the first half as Kansas State heads into the locker room with a 10-3 lead. Here's a stat for you, folks. Kansas State is 147-5, 97% over the last 21 years when leading at halftime. 5-0 last year, 5-0 so far this season. Let's go down to Tim Brewster with Coach Snyder.
Coach, offensively, you struggled mightily in the first half. Finished it with a great drive right there. What do you got to do to finish offensively?
Well, we're going to have to run the ball. We got 3 yards of rushing offense. So some of that is with sacks, but we're just not moving the ball on offense, run or pass, either one. If we don't have some offense, we'll be in some big trouble.
What do you got to do to finish with a W, Coach?
Just what I said. We got to have some offense.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Halftime in Austin, Kansas State 10, Texas 3. We'll send you to Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen in Los Angeles for the Geico halftime show after these messages.